Welcome to the April edition of Digging Up Positivity. This month we are interviewing two amazing beings from the virtual world. However, their friendship influenced their life much more than anyone expected. We also feature a new furry game, some lovely animation news, and of course our charities. Because, my dear friend, we sure had a lot of those in April. So let's go! Earlier this year in Poland we had Gdakon, who raised $3,401.52 for no less than 3 charities. First we have the Rabbit Aid Association Spoto Uskakoło to help with renovating their new larger building so they can help even more animals. SOS Four Paw Association to help with one of their shelters, and the Kotela Foundation, an organization dedicated to provide decent living conditions, veterinary care, and finding forever homes for homeless cats. Our friends from Michigan, USA have raised $32,000 for the Wolf Creek Habitat, an organization that specializes in the care of wolves and foxes. Since they almost solely rely on gifts of sponsors, visitors and volunteers, the friendly fuzzies from Motor City FurCon have undoubtedly made a huge impact. And all the way at the other side of our blue globe, Furry Down Under have raised $17,636.15 for Wildlife Empire. They run a dedicated wildlife sanctuary and rehabilitation site covering about 200 hectares of mostly eucalypt woodlands, forming a wildlife corridor between the two state forests. But sometimes the support goes to the people within the fandom, where many do look after each other. CozyCon is doing just that, always caring about the creative people that run so many aspects of their initiative. They raised $890 during their fundraising stream. Staying in the USA, we have Furcationland, held in Portland, where they raised $11,097.81 for the Short Folks for Hope Foundation, helping them empower, encourage and celebrate cancer warriors of all ages, and inspire the youth to be courageous, compassionate members of their communities. And in Texas, we had Texas Furry Fiesta. The furries there came together and raised $51,500 for CARE, the Center for Animal Research and Education. They are devoted to provide for the rescue, rehabilitation and holistic nurturing of sick, injured and abused exotic animals. In the Netherlands, we had Tani, a freelance artist who has her heart surely at the right place, raising funds on her own for Reuma Nederland, helping them with the fight against rheumatism. Back in the USA, we have our friends at Woodsvlog who raised $1,000 for the exotic pet Wonderland, so they can install new doors for their residents' pens, which are being used to shelter raccoons and foxes alike. 2,536 wonderful critters raised $15,150.27 for the Ohio Nature Education during AnthrOhio. They provide a home for 40 wild animals that are no longer able to live in the wild, and they incorporated these majestic critters in environmental programs for people of all ages, making sure to spread awareness of the importance of nature. The annual ALS walk has been a success, and of course Dogbomb's legacy lives on in Team Dogbomb. And this year they have raised $2,220 for ALS North Carolina. This wonderful initiative has been supported by several high-profile furry groups like Papa Barks. A big thank you for keeping Dogbomb's incredible momentum. The creator of webcomic Moffriel and the co-writer of webcomic Tamberlane, Ari and Lizzie, fell on hard times due to their government not approving the proper paperwork, causing them to be unable to secure a proper income. Good old bureaucracy. However, their friends at FoxGlove Comics, 14 artists, they banded together offering 102 commission slots to help out their friends by doing commissions for a fundraiser, and at the time of writing they have all raised $5,820. We are barely 4 months into 2025, and for the love of everything one might hold dear, it sure has been a year so far. But I keep on running this little series, showing that there is plenty of spirit for the good fight left in our fandom. And there are so many people working so hard to make the world a better place. Within the fandom alone, the charities covered have raised $498,752.11 so far, almost 20% of which went to LGBTQ charities and 69% went to animal-related charities. One of the premier conventions in the United Kingdom, Confuzzled, always had a warm heart for the LGBTQ community, and besides donating to their charity during the convention, people can now donate essential gender-affirming clothing to their trans community. So if you have any t-shirts, jeans, binders, blouses, dresses, belts and so on, feel free to donate them. But make sure it is cleaned and in good condition. As with any fandom, drama is a part of ours as well, no matter if you like it or not. Pause and Effect made a rendition of We Didn't Start the Fire, named We Didn't Start the Drama. It's been long abounding since the fandom's founding. And Chrono Wolf made sure we can enjoy this online. So many cases that pass the song that I know of. And yeah, as one of those old geezers in the fandom, which is part of occurring drama as well. Oh no. Every now and then you see shooters with animal characters, but they're usually humanoid characters with animal ears, a tail and whatnot. Wild Assault, a game in early access on Steam, goes a step further. The characters actually have traits that belong to the actual animal, featuring a meerkat that can quickly dig tunnels and a skunk that really knows our chemical warfare. The quick sprints are on all fours, but each character has their unique way of sprinting. Like, for example, the bunny actually hops on both legs at the same time, and she does not have any paw pads. You know, details that furries seem to appreciate. You can unlock all 10 characters by just playing the game itself. There is a battle pass and premium currency, but so far nothing much has been done by that. Right now there are only 2 game modes without a proper roadmap, so not much is known for future developments. I sure hope that controllers and out-of-the-box Steam Deck support will be amongst them. The makers of Murder Drones and Digital Circus recently released a new pilot called the Gaslight District. It looks like the result of 9 and Invader Zim crashing into each other on a busy highway that doubles as a shady back alley, and the result is actually quite good. However, the pacing is fast. I think a few slower moments to make the whole thing breathe might not be a bad thing. It makes the love for the story and the world building not shining as much as it could be. Or maybe it is just me being a crazy, cranky old meerkat trying to keep up with the times, but either way, do check it out and watch it multiple times, I guess, like I did. Back in February, I had the honor of interviewing Chester the Geroo, who was at Nordic FuzCon together with his friends performing a wonderful opera in fursuit. Turns out they got invited by Spain Got Talent in Madrid on June 25th. Moving such an ensemble from all over the place to Madrid is no small feat.
Anyway, it's really sweet of you to follow up and writing about HowAria. I'm really excited.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for helping out. And the Kickstarter is in pre-launch still, so we're going to start it on May 4th is the launch date.
Will there be any rewards for the backers?
Yes. We have like all kinds of different merch. We're going to have like very specific stuff, like exclusive, like a signed poster or a signed original score that we're going to use during rehearsals in Madrid. Also things like we're going to have pins, we're going to have stickers that we're going to physical stickers to ship. Other things like a meet and greet. So there's actually quite a few tiers of rewards for backers. So we hope we put together a pretty good, thorough campaign for people to give at different levels.
You can find the link to the Kickstarter in the description below. Hello and welcome to Digging Up Positivity. This is one of the first times that we actually have two people together in a VR chat right now. You see my lovely point of view because, well, technically I don't have a VR character just yet, but people keep on asking me more and more to get one, and you two are surely convincing me. However, enough about me.
Okay,
yeah.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just listen. If you're sleeping on the VR stuff as a furry,
Yeah.
listen, we have the technology to become your fursona.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not doing it?
You just make the interview to go the other way.
I'm asking you the questions now. Why are you not here? Join us.
I will give you an explanation for that. I tried various VR chats. I had friends who are very much into VR chat themselves. I myself have a 3D modeling background, but the problem is I got sick, I got nauseous, I could not get used to the motions, and that is the reason. I love VR, I love the way what you guys have done. I've witnessed how Euroferns had their virtual hotel.
I worked on that. I led the 3D team on that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Amazing! I was doing the VR chat how-to together with a couple of others back in the virtual Furrens. We're closer together than one might think. Every story has a beginning, and before VR chat, of course, we had the free fandom. Let's start with Hiyu. How did you get into the furry fandom?
I found it, I think, back in 2008. In 2007, I found a forum for a book I was reading called The Northern Lights, or His Dark Materials, The Golden Compass in other countries. And in that book, everyone's conscience lives as an animal that can change form. So I was really interested in this idea of talking to the conscience, and I found a forum for this stuff, and it's just a fan forum for the books. And then through that, I realized lots of the people in there were furries, because it was very similar to the idea of a persona, having sort of an animal that what form it takes represents you.
But yeah, through the Golden Compass, I've seen the movie and I've read.
No.
But yeah, the movie was not doing the books justice.
The TV series is really good.
It's
a story about the censorship from the church, and the church censored the film.
Oh wow!
It's really, really good.
True.
The version, it doesn't hold back, and it's such a good. Like, I wasn't even that interested in the conscience part in that one compared to like just how they do the characters. Like, it's really good. But anyway,
and what about you, Photographotter?
Ponies were my gateway drug. I started with the My Little Pony fandom back in 2011, and when that was kind of dying out in like 2015 or so, I kind of just transitioned over to furries. So that's kind of how I did it. When I moved over to that, I've had this story in my head for a very, very long time. It has these characters in it. This is way before I was a furry. I was thinking about this story. And then when I joined the fandom, I just kind of became one of the characters from my book. And I just kind of rolled with it from there.
That is very nice. And you both came into the virtual space, into VR chat, which is undoubtedly one of the bigger parts of the furry fandom that really took off during the plague year. And how did you two meet in VR chat?
well, I made so both of these models I made, and this one, the Long Boy, was the first VR chat avatar I made. I was thinking about it 2019 when I got into furry VR chat, but in 2020 we had a lot of time to work on stuff, so I made this one, and I believe you found you were quite new to VR chat still, and you found the Long Boy character and came to one of the meetups.
Yeah, how you joined like way before that, like one of the earlier folks in the platform, where I was one of the people that joined during that pandemic thing. Kind of like as soon as we saw that this pandemic wasn't gonna last just 2 weeks, I was like, okay, you know what, I would like to have a social life still, and people have been telling me about VR, so why don't I hop in that? So I took all the money that I was saving up for a fursuit and I put it into VR, and here I am.
All right. So
and as for how we met,
that was
I had originally gone to some of the Long Boy meetups, and I met Hiyu there. That was like at the very beginning of it, and my character is a long character, so like, and there weren't a whole lot of avatars to choose from at that time, and then this one came out and I was like, oh my god, it was great. So then it showed up there and just kind of went from there.
Oh, cool. There is undoubtedly something in between meeting up with someone from, hey, you made my character, here, have my kidney. I'm sure that there is something in between there.
There was a little bit in between. For me, as odd as it might sound, I'd actually decided when I was a teenager, like way back when, I'm like 35 now, that I thought it would be a really neat thing to give away a kidney. I had looked into it several times. I had actually considered doing it anonymously for a while. It just never worked out. Never had the opportunity, but it was something that was on my mind for a long time, and it was just in the back of my mind. And then when the thing popped up with Hiyu, I was like, well, I think that's my opportunity to do the thing. It's somebody that I appreciate and love very, very much. we knew each other through the meetups and everything, and I just had an incredible amount of respect for the amount of work that Hiyu does on all this kind of stuff. So yeah, and anyway, I saw that all happening, and I was like, hey, here it is. If I don't take this opportunity now, it probably won't come up again.
And I must admit, this is like an amazing little life goal that you had, because you truly are giving something that is of immeasurable value to someone. How did this idea form in your head? What was the catalyst behind your idea to give away a kidney?
Unfortunately, the story really isn't any more interesting than just I thought it would be neat.
Which is apparently
wow!
Some kidney donors.
Yeah, actually, because I'd looked into this whole thing, after during the whole thing, and just looking up other people's experiences, and apparently for other kidney donors, this is a very common sentiment where they had kind of decided that they wanted to do it long time ago, and we're just kind of waiting for the right opportunity to come up.
Okay.
Because I thought it was really weird that's how I came about my decision making, but apparently this is actually a pretty common way for it to happen.
That I am completely surprised by this. But
yeah, we were too.
Yeah, it's this. I am just so how it can have such a complete and utter lackadaisy simple reasoning behind it. But for you, when this came to be and that it became certain that this wonderful otter would donate his kidney to you, what went through you other than need?
You had mentioned before off the cuff about your desire to donate a kidney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd also mentioned that I had some kidney problems that I knew about. And when I put out a thing saying, hey, I'm dealing with this now, when it started to get really bad, and you just tweeted, I got you, bro, or something.
You can have one of mine. I got you, bro.
Yeah. I was basically like, okay, let's go. Let's just. I was really excited for that. At the same time, I was stuck for quite a while in a very operational mindset. So I didn't. There are a lot of emotions I didn't allow myself to feel. You get very sort of like, I need to do this. I need to do this. If I do this wrong, I die. I need to do this. And so, at the same time, throughout all of that, I was actually quite emotionless. When it came to the topic of health. So I think there's a lot of emotions that I didn't fully process, and maybe still I'm in the process of thinking through. It's actually quite, at least in my case, quite complicated like that. But I was very relieved and grateful. And I mean, that process took a while because you're coming from the other side of the world. There's a lot of rules and such because, the organ transplantation industry has seen all kinds of wacky stories that they probably never want to repeat. So there's rules and
a lot of checks and balances.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, that was something I actually remember very shortly after the surgery, when we got home from the hospital. You'd mentioned that you were saying that it you did what? The heck? Because you hadn't really processed that element of it until kind of afterward. Because up until that point, it's just all business and just okay. There's a problem.
Yeah, you're basically in survival mode. You're just on autopilot, so to speak,
Quite
and you're
literally.
going through the motions. But still, even though that your response to it from is neat or just a little bit of a lackadaisy attitude to it, it is something very special. And eventually there was this video made that was being shown on the Sundance Festival. How did that happen? I mean, that, don't tell me the guy responsible for this came in and said neat. There must be something more.
Yeah, actually, so the way that happened was I had started making a video diary about this whole experience. And it actually started, the first video I made was a very emotional video that I just kind of put out there. Because, yeah, like I said, it was very, like, you know, lackadaisy, kind of, you know, like, whatever, we can do that, it's all good. It wasn't until a few weeks later that the emotional side of that kind of hit me, and I kind of started to understand what I was going to put myself through. At no point did I want to stop, or at no point did I regret any of those decisions, but it has a very strong emotional impact, just putting yourself through something like that.
Yeah.
So I put out this video and I talked about my experience, talked about how I felt in that moment. I cried a little bit. I flew out to there for the first series of tests, made a couple videos out there. I came back, and then a filmmaker friend of ours, Max Films, I needed help, and this was for the flight home. I needed to film another video, and my laptop that I had out there was not good enough to run VR and record at the same time. So I grabbed Max. He recorded the video for me. Upon seeing that and being there with me and just talking together, he ended up going to Joe Hunting, who had made, we met in virtual reality. So he went to Joe Hunting and said, I have this story. I think it's really good. And at this point in time, we had already gotten a yes answer. Like, we had just gotten the, we just got the answer. And yeah, they both felt that this was an interesting enough story to warrant a, you know, documentary. So they kind of just went from there. They contacted us, asked us if we'd want to do that, and we were both on board with it. We said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So then we did a whole bunch of interviews before it. When I flew out there, we did a bunch of interviews out there, talked about the whole thing. It was a really incredible experience, just the whole thing. Definitely not something we could have predicted from the beginning. I had expected that little, like, YouTube diary series to just be the thing documenting what happened, but yeah, it turned into a lot more than that.
Yeah, because you two inspired a lot of people. This is an extremely heartwarming story, and this is also one of the reasons why I poked you two. Hiyu, what was your experience through the motions of recording the entire documentary and video?
It was really good to have something so unprecedented and important, like, you know, recorded and documented, because there are so many stories and examples of how much this place means to us, and of kindness in general, that are silent, that some people will know about and will know how important these things are, but won't ever get out into the world. This place is a place. You know, it can be a street, it can be a park, it can be, you know, someone's living room. When people think about VR, they think about it as being I guess a daycare. Like, it is it has all kinds of reputations, and yet it means so much to us in the way that we interact with it. And having what you did, something so kind and important, actually be shown for people to say, hey, this is happening. This place is real. These people are real. And kindness is still alive.
Yeah.
I think that is it is an honor to be able to be part of something like that. Even it's something documenting something that happened in our lives, but it's also just one example of so many things that happen in this community, happen in this place, and it talks a lot about the fandom as well. Filming it was fun.
Yeah.
They were really good. They worked with us really well. They truly wanted to represent things for how they are, not try to spin a certain story or play off of preconceived notions. And that has the downside of things being really weird for some viewers. Like, it's organ transplantation, VR, furries, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of different
managed to
things.
pull it off really well, and it was a really fun experience, and it also helped, I think, quite a lot because we didn't feel alone through that sort of second half of the process, and at the hospital as well. Just having people, friends to talk to, a camera to talk to, and it's so, and to have that memory, like these are some. I can't just walk into the transplantation ward. I mean, I can walk into the transplantation department, but not into the ward. There's people recovering in there. So to have this place with all of these memories through such an important part of our lives, like as a thing we can watch later as well, is just so interesting.
Yeah. And one of the things that we're really hoping people take away from this documentary, and this is something that Hiyu and I had both heard quite a bit. Well, like for me with the donation stuff, probably the first question I would get asked, not from people in VR, by the way, people that don't use VR. First question they ask is, why would you donate a kidney to somebody that you have never met? And that's a question that was posed to me constantly. And it's such a strange question to me, because I'm like, what do you mean we've never met?
You
right here.
Yeah. VR chat is a reality. It is in the word virtual reality. But I see the community from it. I've talked with Sherbert, I've talked with BioGods. They were all so incredibly happy with it. I see those images from Virality, and I've walked around with the 2D version of VR chat in the hotel in the Eurofurns, and it's a world within a world.
Like, the documentary serves as proof of that. Solid proof. We were told by doctors and nurses all around that no one in the world has ever donated an organ to someone in another country they had not seen in real life before.
Do you have any tips for anyone who wants to be part of the VR chat community?
It's important to know someone to show you around. I mean, it's the same with the Furry Convention in real life. You go to a place, it's full of furries, and yet you don't know anyone. So having that sort of point of contact, and maybe using the group system, or just, if you know someone already, going in with them.
We have a couple of groups in common on Telegram for virtual furs. Perhaps that is a good way to start, like make some contacts outside of VR chat first.
And if you already have a little bit of knowledge of VR chat and you hear about Virality, at Virality we run, we don't run, but we, usually there's always, because attendees submit meetups. And so there's always meetups for people who are into music or games or avatar creators, and you can just go to these and meet these people and friend them, and then if you're on VR afterwards, you'll just end up joining each other because you'll see each other as online.
I will post a couple of links in my description of the video so that people have some starting points, so to speak, because just jumping in and try to find a group is very difficult, especially for someone who does not really know how to make contact, and especially if you're in an alien world. Having a little bit of a starting area would be wonderful, and I think that Furality is doing a great job with that.
Furality is a great place. That generally happens once a year, though. There's lots of places. If you're a meerkat,
Yeah.
you can find mustelid meetups, and specifically meerkat groups, or something else entirely. If you're like really into, I don't know, ham radios or something, then you can find a group for that. You know, they do meetups regularly. I have a couple of meetups that I just do every single week as part of my regular routine. Or you could just dive straight in and just hop into public groups and just throw yourself out there. That's always fun too. Yeah, I like to do that too. It's a lot of. I actually still go to Publix quite often just to see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know anybody. Most of the people who are like, you know, on here for a long time, they kind of drift away from the public stuff. But I don't know. I think it's fun. I like to meet random people.
Oh, but that's great, because then someone who is in the public stuff has a little bit of a holding from how to go to, let's say, the more groups that you don't immediately bump into when you join for the first time. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
People use the phrase spatial computing. It's an old term, but public instances and VR chat, what kind of computing is that spatially? The YouTube comment section, that's what it is. The spatial version of the YouTube comment section. It could be quite good. It could be quite bad.
You're going to get everything there.
Yeah.
And, you know, don't be afraid to use the block button, but you also meet some really wonderful people.
And with that, I would like to thank both of you for taking some time from a VR chat. And perhaps I will try once again to get myself into VR chat without getting nauseous. I will keep on trying every now and then.
You know, okay.
Oh,
I've heard of so many people having this experience where they'll try VR, they get sick, and they put it down, they don't touch it for 3 months. And then say, okay, let me try it again. It's about picking it back up and just keep trying.
I've been doing VR development for 11 years now, and I still get motion sick in VR. Sometimes I'm a bit headachy. Sometimes I'm a bit dehydrated. These things contribute. But when you haven't done it in a while and you get back in, that can happen. And it'll happen, you know, for a few hours. It might happen for a day. And what you do during that, of course, is there's things where you turn with snaps rather than turning continuously. So if I do this, you know, that can cause people full sickness early on. I mean, it did for me.
And the movement as well, yeah.
I mean, this kind of motion where you smoothly turn, that was considered like a big no-no in early VR because it would make, you know, new users sick. So, I mean, by default, VR chat doesn't have you do that. It has lots of options set by default now for when you turn. Sometimes it will like make the sides of the screen kind of go away so that you only see what's ahead of you and you feel less motion. All kinds of stuff. But yeah, you got to build a tolerance. It's like spicy food. You know, if you have really spicy food, like bam, and then a year later, bam. That's gonna hurt. But we build up, you know, and that can be in terms of how much time. That can be in terms of what you do. Like, for example, just only like moving and strafing and then turning around, doing all the turning in your room with your feet, walking around. That can be helpful for some people. If you're in a world that has a really fast movement speed and people keep on running around, so you have to try and follow them as they're talking, that sucks. I still don't like that. There's a lot of situations that will definitely be worse than others, and going to a place where you could just sit on a couch and chat to someone is probably, I mean, it's what most of us do anyway, so that's probably what the best situation to be in for like the first, at least few days.
thank you both for taking the time, and I hope to see you in VR chat then.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much for staying with us till the very end. And if you want to support me, I would love a like, comment and subscribe. But you can also attend my sort of weekly art stream from Monday at 8 PM till 10 PM Central European Time. Or you can buy something from my amazing artwork D-store. Or become a channel member or supporter like these amazing critters. On Subscribestar we have Barret de Vloef, Cosmic with a K, Taros and Manic Spectacle Cat. And of course we have the YouTube channel members, Rex the Warhorse, Lorek Burnison, Joey and Mavi, Whiffer and Longtooth. And on Patreon we have Tantru McNally, Ishnula and Els Dekkers. And on Twitch we have Susan Sloth, Clovers, Alex the Yellowwolf, Hansana Janssen, Heinau Lizard, Guasmus, Deadly Wrath of Darkness, Ari, Captain Leinart, Swix the Mischievous Fox, Drowan Starbear, Sparkspot, Andrea Aardwolf, Jack, Evolver TV, Lady Lian, Ayabuyin, Jake RG, Falconio and Light Nympha. And of course a huge thank to all of them, but also to you for watching this entire video. The next episode will be on June the 7th and I hope to see you all there. Many hugs and stay awesome!